Hi, Sergio. Thank you so much for agreeing to have this interview with me. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of ARDD, I appreciate even more that you became a sponsor of ARDD and you come back as a sponsor another year in a row. So we really appreciate it. And we wanted to know what motivated you to become an ARDD sponsor and what did you like about it as much that you that you decided to come again.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to have an interview. The truth is, ARDD has become the world's premier longevity conference, in our opinion, and we have been able to really gain insights about the industry, about the state of the art of the different kinds of technologies, age-related diseases are being tackled by many, many excellent scientists and companies and institutions, ventures, and it's an important place to partner up. It's an important place to display all the great work that our company has been doing. And it's a great place to meet individuals who are interested in supporting the mission, whether it be monetarily, through some kind of partnership, volunteer work, or even through employment.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I really hope that you will beat these opportunities and that ARDD will work very hard to get them to you in as feasible way as possible. But for that, you and the potential opportunity have to get to know each other. So, can you tell me more about your company and how is it different than other longevity biotech?
Sure. TurnBio is a cellular rejuvenation company. We're really working hard to uh, deploy our different platforms technologies in a unified way to combat different age related diseases. So we have different programs mainly in dermatology, ophthalmology, and immunology. And our goal ultimately is to use our cocktail of reprogramming factors. They're mRNA cocktails, and we encapsulate them in our own proprietary delivery systems, lipid nanoparticles that are of novel design. And then we deploy the entire product in, of course, the indication that we want to address in different tissues with different levers of optimization that allow us to really create a safe but efficacious therapy. So we're in the process of heading to the clinic to really help human beings because ultimately that's what I think we're all trying to do. How do we translate from the mouse model into the human? How do we translate it from the petri dish into something that can actually help ameliorate pain and suffering? So yes, that's Turn Biotechnologies. We're just excited to be able to deploy this in humans sooner than later.
Oh, that's fascinating, and I will definitely keep my fingers crossed because translational science, well, it's hard, but it's definitely something we have to go through to ensure that it's the best standard of safety and efficacy when it comes to drugs and interventions. So you definitely have a wonderful plan and you're very close to the clinic. So, and as you mentioned yourself, ARDD gathers a lot of people who can help you. So clinicians, people generally, investors, pharma. What kind of opportunities are you looking for? What would help you the most to accelerate at TurnBio?
We're very fortunate to have a lot of support in the community. So I want to take the opportunity to thank all our fellow co-founders of other startups, fellow scientists, and fellow longevity visionaries. So we feel that our cellular reprogramming niche is being accomplished by us. And we also feel that there's a lot of good work being done beyond that particular hallmark of aging. We are really interested in partnering up and solving issues together. We have announced pharma relationships already. I think our team is excited to deploy our platform technologies across different needs, not just in the pharma industry, but specifically within the longevity industry. For example, delivery, which is such a common hurdle for everyone. I would say that partnerships are important. I'm also very thankful to have the cap table that we have, very mission-oriented individuals, great investors who are legendary. And of course, we're always interested in adding more folks who are seeing the vision of how we're executing, can see the returns based on really solving these issues of aging, and ultimately aggregating a nice, even bigger pool of supporters. So definitely partnerships, I would say, it's a priority. And then always more supporters, financial supporters and strategic supporters that can help us take this to the next levels, in this case, commercialization.
That's fascinating. And at the ARDD, with over 700 speakers, 700 participants, and the 120 speakers, for sure, you will find a lot of attention at every coffee break and every mixer after the conference. After you get the latest knowledge and what's just peeping in the grass in longevity. So I have one more question. This is a very. Oh, you see, I'm that impressed that I'm even out of words. Very aligned with the vision of longevity goal that you have at TurnBio. But what was your story? How did it come to mission?
Are you asking what my personal story is, or
Well, you're definitely you know,
okay?
you and TurnBio are very much connected. So I assume that a lot of parts of the story overlap.
Sure. I mean, I don't know if anybody really wants to know much about me. I try um, not to focus too much on that, but focus on the mission and what needs to be done. Um, but the long story, the short story, is as I was going to school for economics, and well, it started as an engineer and then it switched over to economics and business. My grandma was suffering from Alzheimer's, and I saw what
Sorry to
that.
hear that.
Yeah, thank you. I saw what that did to our family. So what that did to her dignity. And at the same time, I saw the best that medicine had to offer, and it just fell short. Even though my grandpa, passed on a pension that allowed her to receive 24/7 care, her office, her room pretty much became a clinic. um, I would say that it was very difficult to see her getting better, and it was even harder to then dive into the disease, the condition, and understand that billions of dollars had already been spent and wasted on a theory that was never proven, and on a lot of uh, assumptions that weren't correct. And I became enamored with, you know, almost putting or throwing in a proverbial grenade into the current medical system. And I think a lot of people in the longevity field just are enamored to overhaul, disrupt for the better what we all experience in different countries as the medical paradigm. We all wanted to change. And then in my understanding of the disease and different diseases that were actually economically uh, not viable. These are diseases that will bankrupt the world if humanity doesn't figure out solutions. In my learning, I came across the Methuselah Foundation. I came across the theory of aging. I came across, different statistics, such as, a much more newer statistic that, 87% of all diseases are diseases of aging. So it just made sense to go after the root cause. I started volunteering at the Methuselah Foundation, and eventually uh, led the one of the world's first investment vehicles, professional investment vehicles for longevity startups called the Methuselah Fund. So I co-founded that with the Methuselah Foundation CEO, David Goebel. And out of that came a lot of support, a lot of understanding for what a longevity startup would look like. I mean, at that point, that was as much of a moonshot because longevity startups didn't really exist. But we were seeing really good work being done by other investors. Other funds that came up were like the Longevity Fund, and then Laura Demis Longevity Fund, and then Apollo Ventures also out of the EU. And then from there on, I personally and through the fund invested in different companies. One of our checks was the genesis for what's now called TurnBio. And I was very fortunate to have the three scientific co-founders invite me as the business co-founder. So I was able to tell everyone about my interest in helping operationally at this new startup that was addressing something that I've wanted to address for a long time, as aging is an information issue, a lossy process of information. And I thought epigenetic reprogramming just made total sense. And ever since then, we've been really focused on optimization of the mRNA cocktail, which I'm very happy to know that that's at a really good stage. And then overcoming the hurdle of delivery, which now, several years later, I'm pretty happy to know that we're at a very good stage. And the next stage is going through the clinical and regulatory hurdles. And we were fortunate enough to have a conversation in an Interact meeting with the FDA, and the FDA showed a lot of interest in seeing an mRNA therapy cocktail really make it to the clinic, because it's in my opinion and in our opinion next generation. So there's a lot of things converging into an exciting place we call TurnBio. And yeah, I guess when it comes down to how I got into the mission, I'm very excited to say that I'm there trying to help execute, which is so important. And I would invite as many people out there that have an entrepreneurial spirit and have the desire to just see a product come to market, come in and talk to so many startups out there that scientifically have a sound, viable potential, but might need to navigate the nuances of really doing business in this world, which is not geared towards success. But anyway, that's my long and short answer.
And well, that was a fascinating answer, and I am very happy to see how well it evolved from an emotion into an idea into an actual venture that is close to become FDA approved. Congratulations. So many people, I'm sure, who are now watching this interview are at the very beginning of their journey, just like you were many years ago. So if you were to give them one piece of advice into before entering the longevity biotechnology world, what would it be?
I would say don't focus on the people in the field, focus on the science. Um, the beautiful thing about science is it proves us wrong every other day. It teaches us new things. It humbles us by showing us that we don't really know much when it's all said and done. Um, so being tied to one particular ideology or person or camp, it's not conducive to success, overall success. And I would say be be someone that perseveres and has grit. Because even finding something exciting that will get you a Nobel Prize is not going to necessarily translate into the best product for human beings. So grinding it out so that we can actually turn great science into something that helps people is probably the single most important thing and the hardest thing to do as a as a person entering the field, as a person helping the whole process. And things take time. So patience, perseverance, grit, all those are needed.
Wow, okay. So I will definitely take this advice to heart and I will let us both go back to the grind so that we finally move the needle forward.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Sergio. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of ARDD, we are really grateful to have you in Copenhagen, and we can't wait to see you there.
Yeah, we're very much looking forward to it. Thank you, Dominika.
Thank you.